Hey, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. Today I'm going to share with you some of the Christian fiction books that I have found that are coming out in November. Now, the number of Christian fiction books are getting bigger and bigger, so these are just some of the books that I've found. Yeah, I think it would be fun to make this into more of a community video thing every month. So if you know of any other Christian fiction books that are releasing in November 2025, please leave them down in the comments so we can all see them. And if you want to send me a book ahead of time, 2 months ahead sometimes, I need to know well ahead, otherwise it's a bit trickier to add them in. But if you want to send me your book that's coming out ahead of time, feel free to do that. I will need the title, the author, and the description and the book cover. So these are the books, some of the books that I found. Feel free to add your own in the comments. Don't add any links because my YouTube channel is set up to block links from comments, just so because we get some weird spammy ones and some inappropriate ones, and I'm very aware of there are younger people in this community, and I don't want anyone to have to click on a link and find something totally inappropriate. So I don't allow links, but if you want to add the author name and the title of the book, that'd be great. So I put these into categories, different genres, so you can have a look for which ones you're most interested in. This month I'm doing something slightly new. I'm doing a slightly compact version of the description I'm going to read out, but the whole description I've pasted into the blog post, so feel free to go have a look at that. If any of them sound interesting to you, you can look at the whole description that the publisher has put out, or the author has put out. I'm going to just go through a shorter version now to save my voice and to make it a bit more user-friendly as a video. Okay, let's have a look at some of these books. In Mystery and Suspense, On the Edge of Trust by Patricia Bradley releases on the 4th of November and is published by Ravel. When decorated FBI undercover agent Scott Sinclair suffers a gunshot wound in his right arm, the injury threatens his future career in the field. He is determined to regain his former job by training himself to use his left hand, and failure is not an option, especially when he's unofficially pulled into an investigation. Tori Alexander is a passionate crime reporter and podcaster who has dedicated her life to seeking justice. Her relentless pursuit of the truth has freed 2 men from prison who were falsely convicted, and when her nephew is accused of murder, nothing can stop her from getting involved and clearing his name. Prowl by Colleen Coble releases on the 4th of November and is published by Thomas Nelson. This is Sanctuary Book 2. When a worker at the sanctuary is discovered dead in the tiger enclosure, authorities assume the big cat killed her, but when the autopsy shows she was killed by a lethal dose of anesthetic delivered by a tranquilizer gun, suspicion falls on Blake Lawson, co-owner of the sanctuary. Blake has his hands full trying to clear his name as well as get the sanctuary finances back in the black. Trail of Mountain Secrets by Darlene L. Turner releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. This is National Park Protectors Book 2. A Case of Mistaken Identity, A Canine to the Rescue. Park archaeologist Violet Hoyt's wilderness search for a missing family's remains takes a deadly turn when a gunman mistakes her for someone else. The discovery of a grave of skulls reopens a cold case, and someone is determined to keep the truth hidden. Abducted in the Woods by Kerry Johnson releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Pursued by criminals with a child's life on the line. Just when Sarah Brindley believes she and her son Liam are safe from the men who murdered her husband, they are attacked and Liam is taken. Her only hope is to team up with her brother-in-law, Forest Ranger Tucker Brindley, to uncover who is targeting her family. When they discover her late husband's ties to an underground medical black market ring, it's clear the trail of danger runs deeper than they realized. Christmas Canine Patrol by Lynette, Eason, Lenora releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. The holidays take a threatening turn in these riveting Dakota Canine Unit novellas. With a bounty on tech analyst Cheyenne Shen's life, Officer Jack Donadio and his canine partner safeguard her from hired assassins in Lynette Eason's deadly Christmas trap. And in Lenora Worth's dangerous holiday manhunt, a snowstorm traps U.S. Marshal Lorelei Danvers on Drake Corbin's ranch, where a dangerous fugitive is hiding. Christmas Under Threat by Maggie K. Black releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Investigating a cold case could have fatal consequences. Single father Patrick Crafts' world is shaken when his son Tristan is abducted after learning Tristan's mother was the victim of a cold case serial killer. Someone is targeting Patrick and his son, but who? Could it be the Knowleville serial killer back after all these years, or the dangerous armed men gunning for Patrick? Texas Christmas Pursuit by Sommer Smith releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Stopping a murderer is the only way out of danger. The last thing Texas Ranger Bridger Cole expects while patrolling a tornado-devastated town is to fight off an armed killer, but after unearthing a murdered woman in the debris, search and rescue volunteer Sophie Wilder has a target on her back, and someone will do anything to silence her. In historical fiction, The Red Cottage by Hannah Linder releases on the 1st of November and is published by Barber Fiction. She forgot she loved him, he would die to make her remember. Meg Foxcroft has never minded the tattling village gossip or her uncle's ill-tempered rebukes. After all, she has Tom McGwen, and one day they will build their own cottage, paint it red, and live a wonderful life. But then the unthinkable happens. Meg is attacked, her uncle's apothecary shop goes up in flames, and when she wakes up in the arms of an eloquent lord, she remembers nothing, not even her own name. Through Each Tomorrow by Gabrielle Meyer releases on the 4th of November and is published by Bethany House. In 1883, Charles Hollingsworth is a poor farmer desperate to secure financial stability for his mother and sister, as he is unsure which of his time-crossing paths he will choose on his 25th birthday. Posing as the Earl of Norfolk, he enters the opulent circles of Newport's elite to assist a fellow time-crossing friend, Drew, but suspicions of his identity arise among the upper crust. In 1563, Lady Cecily Pembroke serves Queen Elizabeth while clinging to the hope that her stepbrother Charles will remain with her in this past. The Fault Between Us by Stephanie Landsem releases on the 4th of November and is published by Tyndale Fiction. Three sisters fight to save themselves and each other amid the danger of a cataclysmic earthquake that rips Yellowstone National Park asunder. 1959, Claire, Bridget and Franny Riley are as close as sisters can be. Though their mother left when they were young, their loving father raised them with everything they could want. But when Claire marries a handsome cowboy and settles out west, 1,000 miles away, the sisters' strong bond begins to unravel. In biblical fiction, The Royal Artisan by Tessa Afshar releases on the 4th of November and is published by Bethany House. Susanna of Persia creates exquisite pottery that graces Susa's finest tables, but her master, Lord Haman, does not know Susanna is one of the Jews he despises. When Haman discovers her true identity, he forces her into indentured servitude. In an unexpected reversal at Haman's downfall, Queen Esther becomes the new master of the pottery workshop, restoring Susanna to her rightful place. But her troubles are not over. In contemporary romance, Hearts in Circulation by Sarah Monzon releases on the 18th of November and is published by Bethany House. Little Creek's bookmobile is more of a death trap on wheels than a vehicle of literary delights, and circulation librarian Hayley Holt is afraid it's going to careen down a mountainside with her in it. Yet she sees it as a way to serve her community and be worthy of the liver transplant that saved her life as a child. However, her fears come true when the bookmobile breaks down and a rockslide traps her in the small hollow of Turkey Grove. Reclusive mechanic Levi Redding lives in tiny Turkey Grove to get away from people. He can handle getting the bookmobile running again, but the endless chatter and unsettling touch from the vibrant librarian leaves him overstimulated. A Home for the Ranger by Audrey Wick releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired. Can Two Little Girls in Need convince him to stay? For Park Ranger Shane Hutton, his job as head of Cottonwood Creek State Park has always just been a stepping stone towards his cowboy dreams, and when kind-hearted volunteer Alison Van Horn's request for help with 2 foster children in need stirs up painful memories from his past, Shane's first instinct to leave grows stronger. But the more time he spends with Alison and the adorable twins in her care, the more his heart begins to heal. An Alaskan Christmas Prayer by Belle Calhoune releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired. Will an unexpected holiday reunion offer a second chance at love? Molly Truitt has put her whole heart into running her family's cafe bookstore, so the last thing she needs is old flame Hudson Doherty coming back and causing trouble. She hasn't seen him since his abrupt departure nearly a decade ago, and is surprised when the marketing exec claims co-ownership of her beloved store. The Christmas Playbook by Lisa Carter releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired. When her football coach father has a sudden heart attack, Maddie Lovett finds help from an unlikely place, her high school crush Tanner Price. Back in town to care for his mother, former star athlete Tanner agrees to step in temporarily. As he leads the team to the state's championship, Maddie's support helps him see her as more than just the coach's daughter. The Rancher's Christmas Gift by Jolene Navarro releases on the 25th of November and is published by Love Inspired. Love comes in an unexpected package for this cowboy and his canines. Content with his quiet life training service dogs, the last thing Army veteran Joaquin de Leon wants is a runaway bride disrupting his peace. Looking for shelter after running out on an arranged marriage, environmental engineering professor Zitlali Khan is determined to carve out her own happiness for herself and her neurodivergent son. Despite their personal reservations, the single mum and silent cowboy find themselves getting closer as young Oscar bonds with Joaquin's latest training dog Luna. In contemporary fiction, The Road Unveiled by Tim Bishop releases on the 4th of November and is published by Open Road Press. Two Wounded Hearts, Long Winding Roads, and Second Chances Neither Saw Coming. Lauren Baumgartner pedals towards Yellowstone National Park, anticipating a grand celebration when she reaches the Atlantic Ocean, but when her wedding plans collapse, old wounds resurface and a haunting secret still holds her heart hostage. Travelling alone with bear spray in a one-woman tent, she shares the highway with motorcyclists bound for a massive rally, including gang members who eye her as theirs for the taking. Doug Zimmer, another lone cyclist, is grappling with loss and wondering if anyone will be alongside him when he figures out what's next. He isn't the only one drawn to Lauren's vitality and spirit. But Lauren may already be in too deep. In fantasy and sci-fi, Crown of Beauty and Anarchy by Aurora Bell releases on the 1st of November and is published by Mantle Designs Publishing. She is meant for beauty, he is meant for destiny. The queen is meant to be an empress, but who will bear the crown of Whiteshire? Princess Ira White has only ever wanted to know and feel the love of a mother and the protection of her father. Instead, she's had to endure the harsh hand of her stepmother, Queen Amara, who seems bent on openly despising Ira and sheltering her away from the duties of one day becoming Queen of Whiteshire. Suddenly, Ira is thrust out of her kingdom by her father with only his signet ring and her book of prayers in hand. Left to experience the dangers of life outside the safety of her castle walls, Ira begins to hear rumours of her father's death. Not sure if it's true, Ira grieves both the possibility of her soon-to-be heirdom and the potential loss of her papa. When Ira's life is actively threatened, she has to face the decision to fight as the only heir of her kingdom or flee everything she knows. Maxine Justice, Public Offender by Daniel Schwalbauer releases on the 4th of November and is published by Enclave. The case she didn't need, the client she didn't want, the trial she couldn't win. Fresh off her single-handed defense against alien adversaries in a galactic courtroom, Maxine Justice discovers that saving the Earth is not enough to earn a hero's welcome back home. Once again broke and now looking for revenge, her return to Night Court as a public defender takes an immediate detour when she's tasked with defending a theropod murder suspect. Sons of Day and Night by Mariposa Aristeo releases on the 18th of November and is published by Enclave Escape. Not even death can tell them apart. In the wild and lush kingdom of Twinsbane, everyone has a look-alike, and each twin is cursed to die when their double breathes their last. When an ancient plague arises, the kingdom's only hope is to sever these deadly ties, yet King Dacius refuses to relinquish the cure, a legendary potion called the Separator. Waru, an orphan determined to break these ties, discovers he's the king's doppelganger. He's certain that if he can switch places, he can save the kingdom, but if anyone learns his true identity, he'll lose everything, including the people he's desperately trying to protect. So those are the books that I have included. If you want to add any more, please do so in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments which books you are thinking of reading or you might read in the future. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week, and until next time, I pray God bless you and your families. All right, bye.